In the next 7 minutes, I'm going to introduce you to all of the Hak5 gear. From our famous Wi-Fi pineapple to the implants and hot plugs used by red teams, militaries, and universities all over the world. By the end, you'll know a bit about each and how they can impact your cybersecurity engagements or education. So let's start off with the legendary Wi-Fi pineapple. It's a hotspot honeypot, meaning to targets it looks like familiar Wi-Fi networks, the kinds that computers and phones remember. They connect to the pineapple automatically, thinking they're on the real thing. Then you can monitor and manipulate the traffic. It also does Wi-Fi reconnaissance, intelligence gathering, man-in-the-middle, just about any Wi-Fi attack you've heard of, from evil captive portals and beacon floods to DDoS attacks and handshake captures. There's the travel-friendly Mark 7 and the heavy-duty Enterprise, just depending on if you're on the go or looking to ship a box to a client and pen test fully remote. Either way, you control it all from your browser, so launching attacks is just a few clicks. And now, let's take a look at one of my favorite pen test categories, the Hotplug Attack tools. These are designed to perform actions very quickly, whether it's IT automation as a sysadmin or the sorts of drive-by attacks that red teams are notorious for. We like to say, with a few seconds of physical access, all bets are off. And there is no better place to start than with the infamous USB rubber ducky. You've heard of keystroke injection, or bad USB as it's sometimes called. We invented that with this tool. To us humans, it looks like an ordinary flash drive. But to a computer, it's potentially that and a keyboard that types thousands of keys a minute. So whether you're on a physical engagement or littering a parking lot with these, they are highly effective at nabbing credentials, planting backdoors, exfiltrating data, literally anything you can do with a computer or phone and do it in a few seconds. And it's so easy to set up with a programming language you can learn in 2 minutes or dive deep into advanced ducky script and make complex payloads. If you want to take things even further, grab a bash bunny. This little guy emulates keyboards and flash drives like the ducky, but adds serial and Ethernet for some really advanced attacks, like bring your own network payloads that use your favorite pen test tools. Because did I mention it's a quad-core Linux box with Bluetooth for remote triggers and microSD for mass exfiltration, which is what I like to call an involuntary backup. Flip the switch, plug it in, when the light turns green, it's a hacked machine. And it couldn't be easier with bash and ducky script. And there's hundreds of payloads in the library, so getting started is a breeze. Likewise, if it's a network you're auditing, the SharkJack is your new best friend. Plug it into an Ethernet outlet, and in seconds, you're running payloads that scan the network, do recon, gather some intel, maybe even stress test devices. And like its siblings, it runs payloads with bash and ducky script. It gives you feedback with an RGB LED. The cable version even gives you an interactive shell right from your phone. And finally, let's talk about some opportunistic network sniffing. The Plunderbug looks like an Ethernet coupler with a USB-C plug connected to your phone or laptop, and this LAN tap passively eavesdrops on everything in between. It works out of the box with pen test tools like Wireshark and TCP dump, and it'll even get you on the LAN if that's what you need. Now let's say you're in a situation where it's not about seconds of physical access, but rather getting in and staying in so your red team can act. Well, that's where these implants come in handy. They're designed to blend into the environment and give you real-time intel or remote access into the network. Perfect example, the simple screen grab. It's a little box you connect between HDMI gear, like a computer and monitor, and it records video or takes screenshots every few seconds. Then, from afar over Wi-Fi, you can watch it all remotely. Attach it to the back of a screen or projector in the conference room. You can't imagine the kind of intel you'll get. Similar idea with the key crock, except instead of just capturing keystrokes on a keyboard that you can then watch remotely on your web browser, it also kicks off payloads like the bash bunny. They can trigger when your target types keys that you choose. So they type a password, it kicks off a payload, and you log in over its Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's a quad-core Linux box keylogger armed to the teeth with pen test tools. But what about the network? Well, look no further than the LAN Turtle and Packet Squirrel. Both do remote access and man-in-the-middle attacks. The Turtle looks like an innocuous Ethernet adapter, and the Squirrel is a matchbook-sized Linux box that goes in between any network segment. It even has advanced ducky script commands that let you alter network traffic or passively capture packets. My favorite is to eavesdrop on the print jobs. You'd be surprised on the kinds of loot you find. And finally, these are OMG cables. They look and act like the real thing, but hidden inside is a powerful hardware implant. It does keystroke and mouse injection, hardware keylogging, covert exfiltration, carries hundreds of payloads that can be geofenced and self-destructed. Personally, I love that it can all be controlled on your phone over Wi-Fi. And speaking of phones, there's even a USB-C variant which can attack mobile devices. On the computer side, who doesn't need a USB adapter these days? If you're looking for one, plant the OMG adapter. It's got all the cable features in a form factor that looks the part. And with all these scary cables, you might be considering the age-old advice, use a data blocker. Well, how about the OMG unblocker? It looks like the real thing and does all the mischief. Of course, you can always use the aptly named malicious cable detector to detect malicious cables. And if you're looking to up your everyday carry game, you can't go wrong with the OMG plugs. They are great for opportunistic drive-bys. So that's it. The Hak5 gear, at least surface level. There's a ton more to explore at hak5.org, including our payload editor, Payload Studio, and our command and control software, Cloud C2. That's where you can also build your very own Red Team Field Kit, customizable to your heart's content. Since 2005, we've been making this just for you. So come on over. You're gonna find plenty of gear and videos and an awesome community, and I'll be right there reminding you to trust your techno list.